Hello everybody, let's talk about the X23 buff. This is very exciting because as much as I was like, I don't know whether or not they're going to make X23 good, super good, mid, what they're going to do. But let's just say on paper, because it is very much on paper and what you can see visually right here, the champion does actually look pretty good. Assuming this is a rank 4 7-star version or a rank 3 7-star version. One crucial thing for me is not just the berserk nature, the very much in your face damage potential, the bleeds and other stuff like that. I was wanting to see something like survivability and regeneration, because that's a big thing as well about the Wolverine type characters. Let's see if Kabam are setting X23 out in a little bit of a different direction. So Kabam say that the loop is orientated around Frenzy. She can build up Frenzy by striking her opponents and dodging special attacks. Frenzy increases critical rating and is primarily used to inflict her eviscerating stun. I have to remember to say that. Eviscerating stun, which allows her to rapidly shred through her opponent based on how much frenzy she has. Additionally, Laura's critical hits inflict bleed, which in combination with eviscerating stun deals burst of damage to the opponent, leaving nothing left of them. I'm thinking that there must be a type of relic that is going to amplify those critical rate abilities, and of course a stat focus in that particular type of medium could see this champion do a lot more. And as well with an ascension as a 7-star, if indeed allowed, this is going to be quite a substantial mutant based champion. I mean, the whole kind of ramp can be seen right here, especially the build up using a stun and the eviscerating strike, which you can see right now. We're eviscerating and light attacking in out the wazoo right there. That's absolutely incredible. And I think for a lot of players that are looking for answers to questions, those questions being a situation of it's not a true stun, or yeah, it's like a debuff. So it kind of bypasses a lot of mutant based champions and as well bypasses situations of champions that evade, and having a pursuit based passive gives some extra utility option to destroy a large quantity of skill based champions. So I wanted to go into something that I think is important for me, and it's this selection right here. This kind of like, well, there is some attacker summary. Let's do attacker summary and then do defensive based one. So critical hits inflict bleed passives. Yeah, we know that against bleed immunity, they inflict ruptures, which is great because it's not just about like, oh, it's just going to be great against skill-based champions. Champion can go against a whole host of ones that are bleed immune, which is great, like Korg as well within the skill line. It's kind of like, I'm not really sure about this, like using this particular champion. The defensive-based summary, defender summary, can I have regeneration reduced? Law reduces the duration of incoming bleed and poison effects. Now, I don't know if that's something that kind of applies for the general abilities of the champion, because that just sounds a little bit weird. Wouldn't it be like on both the attack and defense side of things? But also striking has a 15% chance to grant a regeneration buff. This kind of means that this might be one of those, it helps out like get out of jail free cards or survivability, but not from using a champion. I'll give you a good example. Like if I was attacking out, I want to see like regeneration pop up. Now it did pop up in that particular video. This video that I'm referring to right here, you can see there's a regeneration ticking. Now, unfortunately, because there's no context to this particular fight clip here. I don't know if that is from recoil damage. I don't know if that's from, say, being hit. That for Karate Mike for this particular footage was kind of being hit prior to kind of like hitting Punisher. I don't know. We don't know what the kind of context of that. So I can't understand the regeneration side of things, or see it physically, or see it on screen. It also looks like there's a tie-in with certain relics, like the Wolverine relic grants some additional critical rating, while Laura has regeneration effect, which effective active, which again is good because you're like, I want to get regen, I get regen, and that's how it kind of comes by. Laura's healing factor comes in to deal with threats such as bleed, regen, as bleed, I think it's meant to be poison, and opponents that like to lower regeneration rates. Additionally, while certain mutants love utilizing abilities that punish skills' ability to remove debuffs, Laura simply powers through and inflicts passives, instead dealing no escape for skill-based champions. Yeah, we all know about that, but it's a regeneration. Is this where we hear about it? When Laura is struck, she has a 15% chance to gain regeneration passive, healing 50% of the missing health over 16 seconds. Max stacks as a defender, these heal 3% of missing health instead. After knocking down her opponent, Laura stands still for 0.8 seconds. If she does not perform an action before this ends, she will consume 20 frenzy to gain a personal regeneration passive. That's interesting. So if you're looking to put that into your rotation. I mean, Kabam even say here, regeneration capabilities, since these regeneration effects are based off missing health, it means that even when back into a metamorphical corner, that's a long word, Laura can find a way to power through and get out. Yeah, but then I guess that's the point of like playing into it, isn't it? Like, do you want to trigger off regen? So therefore, you can trigger off your Wolverine relic. These are questions, aren't they, on play style and rotation? Because it's given the impression that the way you ramp up is what Kabam were putting obviously in that particular video. Like, based on my notes and of course with the footage on screen, the push is to the SP2, which you can see. Push to the SP2, then that builds frenzy, and you build it more by dodging special attacks and striking the opponent. Then frenzy is going to improve that critical rating, intercepts to get the pursuit, and then you're over 100 frenzy, which you can see on screen, and it's like let go, like you just like let rip, so to speak, with it all. And then you're like, okay, well, now I'm going to go into my special stun, my eviscerating stun, and just go mad. All of a sudden, just go ham like that. And it's eviscerating strikes from the eviscerating stun, but it's eviscerating strikes to kind of like completely knock out the enemies. But I suppose the question would be like, what if you can't stun? So Kabam have said like an SP3 rotation might be the way, because you consume all frenzy to grant Laura a cruelty passive for every 20 frenzy consumed for 8 seconds. Then this is all you need to do to kind of like just ramp up the damage. Kabam say that since it indexes all of Laura's damage into her critical hits rather than her bleed and ruptures, be sure to rush back up to high amounts of frenzy to take advantage of the cruelty. Of course, more damage. But Kabam do say that like the main thing about the ramp is that this is more about an SP2, because SP2 is the setup for Laura's spike, that is the eviscerating stun. Setting this up before a stun can lead to frankly ridiculous amounts of bleed damage, both through bursts and damage over time. So yeah, that's kind of like it. The SP1 as well, like I didn't really like see any mention of. Speaking of bleeds and ruptures, this special attack is perfect for taking advantage of all those lingering damage over time effects, allowing them to stay active even longer. Personal bleed and ruptures and cruelty effects are paused during this special attack and for 5 seconds after. So I guess that may be what you want to do, but it feels like it's more like push to the SP2 and then kind of like let it take hold. Unless for whatever reason the AI is being particularly passive and you're like, well, I'll just throw an SP1 rotation. That might save me some time if the AI is being completely passive or rubbish for whatever reason. And the final thing I want to end on is the signature ability. So while an opponent is suffering from 8 or more personal bleed or rupture effects, performing special attacks or activating eviscerating stun inflicts a marked passive for 5 seconds, which we did see in the footage. I wonder what it was all about. When Laura is inflicted with a bleed effect, she has 80% chance to gain a personal regeneration passive, which again is important to play into the relic, which then is important as well to build into critical rating improvement as well, and also increases personal vicious potency of 50%. I feel a lot of people will want 200 signature this champion. I mean, I've got a 6-star version of 200 signature. Will I be ascending in rank 5? There's a high chance of it. So my big thing about this champion is trying to get to that frenzied eviscerating stun as quickly as possible. So you've just got to build up that frenzy by any means necessary. I think it's like dodging special attacks, hitting the enemy, but also tapping into instincts, because
As an attacker, Laura's 4th light attack, while over 100 frenzy, inflicts an eviscerating stun passive for 3 seconds. For every 10 frenzy above 100, this duration is increased by 0.2 seconds. So you may want to kind of hold off on that 4th light because that triggers. That's the trigger point for it. So holding off on that until you're like really sure. And as you saw by some of the footage, and what we'll leave you with is that as soon as you've reached that SP2 and you've fired off on that 4th light attack, so you can see here's the SP2 right now, and as soon as you fired off on that 4th light, you're then primed and ready for that eviscerating stun. Trigger that off, and it's like demolishing the enemy. You've got to be sure, though, on when it's time to let loose, because you could be caught by some very nasty special attacks if you don't trigger this right. But getting that 4th light in, and of course the pursuit passive does help depending on the champion you face off against, it's then go time. 4th light, hit, ignition now, and it's just pummel the enemy, bursting, damaging, doing anything in your might to then destroy the enemy. It's a very exciting champion buff, and I am looking forward to it. On paper, and what I've seen, it does look good. But what are your thoughts? Put it in the comments. Thank you very much for watching this video. Check out some other content located on screen. Keep up to date with everything in the community, and I'll see you soon. Bye.